Greetings, everyone. Before I get started, to answer a question that was sent to me by WhatsApp, is there a reason why you're wearing all white? The answer is yes. However, I cannot talk about it right now, but I promise you I will when I'm able. Now, we're off to a great start in 2024. And in this year, we're going to trample some beasts. In this year, we are going to break up some shackles. We're going to break free. But I can't do it for you. You're going to have to do it for yourself. Just like you can't do it for me. No one can do it for me. There is a formula, however, and what works for me in a linear path might take curves, valleys, mountains for different people. So this is one of the things that stresses me out. There are people who want changes in their life, but they're not prepared to do the work. You're lazy. You want it to drop out of the sky like manna for you. And it's just not going to work. It's not going to work. So, also, some of you, if you pray today and you fast today and things don't change, you give up. And you will never see breakthrough that way. Because God is not a genie. He's not a genie in a bottle that you rub and you get what you need. No, it does not work that way. Anyway, so as we walk towards changes, as we work towards breaking yokes and shackles and trampling the enemy under our foot, understand that you have to put in the work. I am just a teacher, a spiritual advisor, but I make no claims that I can deliver you. You're going to have to deliver yourself. Now, I'm going to talk about a very interesting topic. And there's a lot more of this. And so if this is not your segment, respectfully move along. But remember, it's not always about you. So if you don't want it, doesn't mean that others don't. Now, so many of us have been held in bondage for so many years, sometimes decades. Sometimes you don't even recognize it as bondage because it's generational. It happened to your mama, it happened to your great-grandmama, it's happening to you, and now it's happening to your daughter. And you sometimes realize something is off, but you're not prepared to do the work. And so you pass it on to your child and your children's children. And I'm trying to break that. I'm trying to break the yoke. Those that are generational and those that come through my encounter with people in my life. Now, I watched an interview last night with a woman who started out by saying her mother did witchcraft on her. And that is not far-fetched. There are some very evil mothers, some very wicked mothers. And because someone give birth to somebody doesn't mean they're going to be good to the one that they give birth to. Sometimes your mother is your biggest enemy. I know people where it's clear that the mother is doing everything to hold down that girl. Where the mother, in her mind, is not an enemy, but the things that she's doing to her daughter. And the daughter loves her so much, so she doesn't realize that your mother is doing everything to keep you under her foot. So when the lady started talking that her mother was doing these terrible things to her, you know, I started feeling empathy for her. Until she shared a story about how a man a white man came to Jamaica, fell in love with her, sponsored her and her children to Canada, sorry. And when she came to Canada, she talked about how her husband was a wealthy man and how she was able to help her 10 siblings, buying homes for them, building homes, buying cars, you know, getting people started on business, helping friends. She literally used that man to bless her family. And her concern now is that the family that she helped turned their back against her. But what caught my eye was not the story of family hurting her after she helped them, because that's common assault in Jamaica. What I saw was her story of how broken she was and how she lost everything. Now, when she shares the story, she talks about going back home and every single time her husband allowing her to go home and do all these great things for her family, loving her unconditionally, taking her children, or 2 previous children from a previous relationship, and treating them like his own. And then she says, I didn't love him. I did not love him. He was older and, you know, he's of another race. And so she used that to justify the fact that she had another lover in Jamaica. And so she would go home and she talks about bringing gifts to her lover and how her mother was against it. She said her mother was evil and had done her all these bad things. But, you know, I was tempted to call in. I was going to call in until the Spirit said, if you dare, whatever is on her, I'll put it on you. And so she was not mistaken in thinking that there was a curse on her life. There was a curse. But it was because of what she had done to the man who showed her love. There are many people or individuals who get involved with people. You know, you don't like the person because they're older. You don't like them because they don't look the way, you're not attracted to the way they look. You don't like them for whatever reason, but yet you're okay with taking their things, okay in them blessing you and changing your life. And in exchange for their kindness, what you offer them is hate instead of love. And I'm not asking anybody to fall in love with anybody they're not in love with. To be in love is just this romantic tale. And oftentimes it is not real. But if you are able to accept kindness from people, you're able to absorb all the blessings they give to you, and you turn around and betray them, you will be cursed. And so she's cursed like no other. She's so cursed until her children are suffering from it because of it. And that part is very unfortunate. This woman will never break free. You know, she said that her mother buried her underwear, and she doesn't know that it's not really her mother that did it. Well, her mom brought her husband somewhere, and she didn't say that, but the Spirit revealed that her mother brought her husband somewhere, and in his attempt to try to hold on to her, what he has done is cast a spell that will never be broken until she go back and find that man and truly ask him to forgive her. And now she said she'd ask him to forgive her, but no, not in the way she asked him. She's going to have to acknowledge what she did as wrong, not beg him to forgive her, but go to God and repent of her ways. So when I listened to her story, it just reminded me of some things that happened to me. And not every time there's a curse on your life or a spell on your life because of something you've done. There are times when you have very evil family members that will cast spells on you. It happened to me. It happened to me. And I've shared my story, and I will share it. I will share it until people are tired to hear it. My own blood relatives did the most wicked thing to me using my own money. This is why I'm saying, be careful who you give your money with or give your money to. Used my money, and for years, money would fall through my fingers like water. They took my money, and in an attempt to destroy me with my own money, they cast a spell that I didn't know I could break, until the Spirit puts me in positions to do things, you know, order me or instructed me to go out there and do work, and I had to surrender to the call. And then the Spirit, through my obedience, showed me how to break it. I saw people in burying ground burying my articles of clothing belonging to me. I see it, I know it. And if you're watching and you know you've done it, I forgive you. But you need to go and dig it up and burn it, because guess what's going to happen? It's going to fall back on you if you don't. Since my father passed away, and my father did me some wrongs, but the Spirit also gave me instruction on how to deal with my father, to feed him, to show him love in his dying days. And I listened. And when he passed away, I saw how they took my shoes. I bought a pair of shoes from Payless. And I can tell you when, in 1995. And the reason why I remember, I went to the United States to shop, for, I was pregnant. And I was there to get clothing for the baby. And so I remember my daughter was born February 95, and I went in January. So that's why I remember I bought a pair of shoes from Payless, and I went to Jamaica and brought it with me. And I did not remember the shoes until when my father passed away. The Spirit came and showed me. I was sitting on the side of the road, and the Spirit showed me the shoes. I did not remember it, and showed me what they did to my shoes. They took my shoes and brought it to, you know, Obiaman. Buried me to destroy my life. You see some people walking around looking like they're saints. They're demons. Some girls, some women, some people you see, they're wicked. And instead of using magic to bless themselves, they try to use it to curse others. Some years ago, every Sunday, I used to hear my father listening to this call-in program on the radio. And this man called in to share his story. He was confessing. He said that there was a man in his community that was rich, but he was only a farmer. All he did was plant food and sell, and the man was wealthy, and it made him jealous. So he went to see an Obia man, and when he went, the man told him to dig up an acre of land. When he dig up the acre of land and went back, he said, I dig it up and the man is still alive. Nothing is wrong with him. He says, well, these things take time, so I want you to go back, and I want you to, the man gave him some seeds, and he said, I want you to dig your hole, you know, a certain, you know, distance from each other, and plant it. And while you're doing that, you'll be planting the man. By the time you're done, he should not be around. And he did it. And he said, don't come back until 6 weeks. And when he went back, he said, 6 weeks. He said, the man is still alive. Why is he still alive? And the man said, so what else is going on with the stuff that you planted? He said, well, they're growing up. They're looking very nice. I planted tomatoes, I planted okra, I planted, callaloo and stuff, and they're, they're starting to, the field is starting to look really nice. And the man sent him back with more instruction and tell him to come back in 3 months. And when he returned, he said, the man is still alive. And he says, how does your field look? And he said, it's doing very well. It's bearing fruit. It's lush. And the man said, everything that I told you to do is what that man did. And you hate him for it. Get out of my sight. So it's not every person who is truly gifted and, has this calling upon their life is going to allow you to come to them and destroy other people. But as I've always said to you, in the hand of the practitioner, good and evil exist, right? So it's the intention of the person. It's what's in their heart that's going to make the difference. So if I'm evil and I have these gifts, I can choose to use it to do bad, or I can use it to bless others, okay? So when you look into your life and you're seeing a consistent flow, a certain energy in your life, and it's negative, understand that it can be broken, but it's going to require you to spend some deep time and meditation. It's going to take some time with you willing to do the work. You want people to do the work. That's why you get ripped off. Anyone who you go to produce work on your behalf as a spiritual person, and you don't have to do anything, you're getting ripped off, or you're dealing with some demons. Because guess what? It's about intention. It's about you doing your own work. All I do is stay there as a guide, provide you with the herbs, provide you with the details on what you need to use for what. And in 2024, I'm doing most of that. I'm not shipping anything to anybody. You're going to get the instruction in the class. You're going to find the items that you need, and you're going to produce your own work. Because some of you don't want to work. You want the creator, you want the universe, you want the spirits to, do all this work on your behalf, and you reap. And it doesn't work that way. You have to put in the work. And there are times when the Spirit reveals things to you and blessings you see coming and you expect it to happen right away. No, you can see something, but it doesn't mean it's happening now. It's just giving you an idea of this is in the atmosphere. It's forming, it's coming. But there are other steps you're going to have to take before they come to pass. Right? So the work has to be done. I met a young lady, and if you recognize the story and it falls on you and you're convicted, then you know the story is for you. I've asked you so many times, because of what I see with my spiritual eyes about what's going on in your life, negative things that are following you, and I've offered you the opportunity to fast and pray with you, and you did not have any time. OMG, it was the most infuriating. You're going to be punished, girl, if you don't stop putting your skin and your flesh in front of God. Divine energies that want to bless you, you are going to continue to find yourself in a web. 10 steps forward, 100 back. You're going to continue seeing yourself losing. You're going to continue to lose, because guess what? You don't have time for God. You don't have time for divine energy. You don't have time for spiritual awakening. You're lost in your flesh, is lusting after the things of the world. And because of that, you're not going to break this generational curse, this thing that was done to you. Someone taking your hair and doing things to it and speaking ill over you and your future. The woman I'm talking about in the beginning of this video, she's bounded, she's wrapped up. And then a bunch of people come on the live and they tell her, oh, don't do your incense, don't do your sage, don't do frankincense or myrrh. And I'm like, these people, what kind of Christians are these people? Because they're speaking against what is written in the text, in the Bible. But the reason why they're telling her this is because they're warlocks. Because if they know if you enlighten people, then they won't be able to hold you hostage anymore. They won't be able to bind you. And you've seen on my channel how this, you know, landlord that was doing the most, and I took him to court to address and redress that, and how that man put food on my window in abeyance to his spirits. And while I don't have a problem with him actually practicing the things of his forebears, he was putting it there so when I touch it, the spirit would know where to find me. Demon energy would find me because I would touch it. But the spirit, they always show up. My spirit guides, they always show up and they always show off. And so they whispered and they showed it to me and they warned me and told me what to do. I have escaped so many things, but I still fell prey to some of them because, listen, in all of that, there's still a lesson. So there are times when the Holy Spirit, divine guides, the ancestors will allow you to stumble so you can learn, see the path, clear your way, and become stronger. And that's who I am in 2024. All my hurdles, all my obstacles in life have brought me to the point now where I can see clearly. I can see my enemies. I can see them coming before they get here. I can hear them. I can hear them speak. I can hear their plans because the spirits reveal it to me. But in all of this, I have to remain humble and obedient. There's so much, many of us are wrapped up and tied up and in some battle. And we can't be free because we are disobedient. Shared story of my father-in-law revealing to us, showing us things, telling us how to get rid of it. And this is why my husband prospers, because there's no weapon formed against us can prosper. This is why we were able, once we were able to find out these things and go and do what the Spirit tells us to do and break it, all doors opened up. We started walking towards a thing that we desire. Nothing can hold you back. Nothing. So even money that people give you, not just taking your money, but people giving you money. Let me tell you, I pay attention to any money that I receive, that there is difficulty in receiving it. I understand the message. And I give thanks for this true revelation. Talk to me in the comment section, people. If we're going to go forward with this and you want more of these messages, you have to communicate. Communicate. Share your stories. It's in the sharing of our stories and the telling of our stories that we're able to break through, to break ground, to conquer the enemies. Stay blessed, everyone.